ili tuwe na ile consistent teaching, sababu sometimes wanafunzi tunawachanganya, akisoma huko amefundishwa hivi, akisoma huko amefundishwa hivi. Okay, sasa akiingia kwenye mtaa anashindwa kujua nini. Okay, ni mwalimu gani sasa ni muamini, kwa sababu na issue huwa kwenye taxi. Okay, interpretation ya taxi ni ngumu mno. Okay, kama ukifanya wewe mwenyewe individual, lakini kama mkitukutanisha tuka share concern zetu za maeneo mbalimbali, kama kuna common view, wanafunzi hatutawachanganya hata siku moja. Okay, hata siku moja. So trainer development are also essential and a meaningful process, greatly enhancing the teaching and the learning process. Trainer development is important in the teaching and the learning, where teachers are constantly empowered and kept up to date with the current teaching methodology, including content knowledge. Then, thank you for listening. That is the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for your good presentation. I would like to welcome Mr. Humphrey.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rashid, for your presentation. Your presentation was wonderful, I can say. You were able to take us through a number of issues, but issue that has been noted by me personally to the issue of updates is very, very important. If we are really teaching these candidates, we need to be updated, and at least we thank you, Mr. Rashid, for a number of updates that has been highlighted here. But also he has emphasized for us as trainers to be up to date, that whatever we are teaching should be current. Otherwise we will be challenged by candidates. And sometimes our credibility can be questioned if we are teaching things which are out of the date. And again, he has also told us as lecturers, apart from teaching, we need to guide these candidates on a number of issues. So that's why Nbaa decided to introduce review classes so that you can guide candidates. That one has been captured by Mr. C.K. Rashid, and it is very, very important for us to note. On the issue of Nbaa, also to guide trainers and review classes, that one, the management will respond. And during when we will be approaching to the end of our program, I think the management will have time to say on this issue. We thank you very, very much, Madam Chair, and dear participants. We are proceeding now. I would like to invite CPA Rumerezi. CPA Rumerezi is a representative of Tuition Providers Association. Mr. Rumerezi, you are welcome. We have 7 minutes for your presentation so that you can speak to our Madam Chair and the participants. You are welcome.
He's addressing us all, but he's sending message.
Okay, thank you, management of National Board of Accountants and auditors for having prepared this session for tuition providers, which, as Mr. Lemo had said, it had not taken place for 2 years. So we have resumed. As Madam Chairman, you said, first we as tuition providers, we congratulate you for being appointed as the board chair. are confident that we will work together in the, as the Nbaa motto says, in moving the profession forward. Yeah, in moving the profession forward. As I've been given only 7 minutes, so let me quickly, first to introduce the Tanzania Association of Certified Accountants Professional Trainers. Tanzania Association of Certified Accountants Professional Trainers. That is, this is a member association. This is a member association. So we encourage, we as trainers to collaborate together, as Madam Chairperson has said, that we can be competitors, but we can collaborate. We can be competitors, but we can collaborators. We can collaborate on matters of common interest in making the profession move forward. So this has been registered with under the Societies Act. It has been registered under Societies Act at the Ministry of Home Affairs. At Ministry of Home Affairs, and we have registration number 22285. 22285, dated 10th of March 2021. 10th of March 2021, it is a members association. So from here, we will have your names and your email addresses. We will forward it to you, our constitution and our certificate and what. By then, we encourage you to do what? We encourage you to be members. And as far as this is tuition providers forum with the Nbaa, we have some few issues which we would like to present to you, Madam Chairperson. First is the issue of affiliation fees. First is the issue of affiliation fees. That Nbaa introduced a new way of levying these affiliation fees based on turnover, that will be required to contribute to Nbaa 5% of our turnover on students. We are not objecting this, but we feel that there is something like a double taxation, because we are required to pay 500,000 annually, and it has come for another 5% on tuition fees. What our views is, first is to go with one, either to go with a fixed component of 500,000, or if Nbaa thinks to increase it, well and good, or to leave the fixed component and remain with the variable component. On the other hand, we feel 5% on turnover is on a very high side. 5% on turnover is on a very high side. So we would propose, if this goes on, a variable component should not exceed 1%. Just like Ewura, Sumatra, Latra are collecting from fares. So if this option of variable component goes through, so we would propose that Nbaa to have a rate at which they will be charging rate, so that to create uniformity. That is, if I have 10 students at AFC, 10 students at Better Business Consultants, I have to pay the same amount. So we are proposing that the final stage at least should be charged 170. Yeah, that should be the base. Intermediate 150 per subject, foundation 110 per subject, and ATEC at 70 per subject. We will give you, Madam, this. And another issue is for private candidates. you read the examiner's report, you see a lot of private candidates. But if you go to Nbaa section 6 of the 3rd schedule of National Board of Accountants and Auditors Examinations and Trainings Bylaws of 2014, this section reads, I quote, a candidate aspiring to sit for board's examination shall be required to undergo training of not less than 6 months in preparation for an examination level. Evidence of training has to be vouched by an approved tuition provider where such training was undertaken. So this is within the board's regulations. And now, if this is the regulation, then there is no provision for private candidates, because here the regulation says should undergo training at a recognized, approved tuition provider. So we think, as a way of enhancing our training providers, this option of private candidates has to be removed. Another issue is the issue of review of marking schemes. We had been invited right from after the examination. It was Nbaa developed a tendency of inviting us to review the questions and their suggested solutions before marking session. But for more than 3 years now, this is not undertaken. So we request Nbaa to consider reviving this spirit, because it was in the interest of leveraging quality of the questions and their suggested solutions, and the consistency of questions and their suggested solutions. So we request, if there was any mishap in doing this exercise, let not look at the past, and then let's forge the way forward. Another issue is, as you have said, the issue of practical aspect. We believe that we as tuition providers have the role to impart practical knowledge on our students. But here, it can bring something like a conflict of interest, because this student is aspiring to sit for examination, and you can be trying to impart the practical knowledge which is out of examination. So here, it can be something like a conflict of interest. What we can suggest Nbaa to take into account, that to bring practical questions in examination. To bring practical questions in examination, especially for the compulsory question. Especially for the compulsory question. That is, if we are talking of preparation of financial statements, it has to be a real practical examination question. Okay, so here it means it can bring the practical aspect. Another thing, as you, Madam Chairperson, you said, is we are moving with technology. That Nbaa can consider introducing a practical examination based on case study. That should be a computer-based. That is, for instance, preparation of financial statements. Someone can be given a trial balance, okay, in Excel sheet, and given 3 or 4 hours to prepare cash flow statement, to prepare practical. Are we together? So here, Nbaa can consider introducing practical examinations. On practical aspects, another thing is Nbaa to support tuition providers in CPD activities. Nbaa to support tuition providers in CPD initiatives to complement Nbaa effort. Nbaa has its own CPD initiative, so there is a need to support tuition providers in CPD. So recent regulation is that any person, any member should attain at least 75% of the CPD hours from Nbaa. We think this should be reversed. Instead of 75 from mandatory from Nbaa, it should be at least 25 mandatory from Nbaa, and if 75 is sold elsewhere, it's no problem. So here it means tuition providers can complement practical aspects which are missing in the CPD calendar of the what? Of the Nbaa. Having said that, we will prepare our views and share with you, Madam Chairperson, and the management of Nbaa. Once again, I thank you for welcoming me to present our views as tuition providers in the umbrella of Tanzania Association of Certified Accountants Professional Trainers. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, CPA Uberezi. Now, according to our program, it is healthy break. But before we go to healthy break, we shall have the group photo with the Madam Chair outside there. And after the group photo, we'll be back for
writing, and I think the process will start. We were not saying that you teach practical subjects in your review classes. It is a process of thinking of how to fill in that gap. The company from the association to impart those practical skills, that's something. Just want innovations from you. We are not changing already the content is full. So I think of coming up with a subsidiary company, so you bring computers, etc., and that's another income stream. So, but we will definitely respond once we get the whole package. But this is the way to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments, Madam Chair. Now, we can go for the group photo. Nobody was personally muongozane na chair na participants, sisi tuweze kwenda kwa